What is going on, you two people? Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics here. Well, I was planning on doing a PSA video today, but they didn't announce their pricing change. So here we are, a little weird afternoon release, evening release for you guys and girls. And today, I mentioned this in a video, the eBay video, the other day that I did on the whole it misreporting comps things. I sold my Lucas Select Premiere, and it's probably I'll wait till the end of the year to officially decree this. I'll probably do like a recap video at the end of the year, at the end of December, a month from now. I'm willing to guess it's the card I take the biggest loss on this year. The card I was probably the most wrong about. And I lost my ass on it, to be quite frank. I was straight out wrong about this card. And maybe the market in general at the point in time and what I bought in. So we'll kind of discuss that. But as I've done before, if I'm going to sit here and flex my wins, I think it's just as important to flex the losses as well. And this is one that I just decided to bite the bullet and take the loss on, and we'll kind of get into why I just decided to sell this now instead of waiting for it to rebound. So that's what today's video is. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Let's go ahead and dive in. Market movers today, link in the description down below, coupon code whole 9 yards. Diving into the My Collection tool, because this has everything documented for when I bought, when I sold, prices I paid, prices I sold for, what I made, what I lost. And it's just the one nice, very convenient place to keep all this stuff in. So, the card in question, the Luka Premier PSA 10 base, not silver, just base. I purchased this card on April 18th, 2021 for $1,225 out the door. So I don't remember where I bought this at. If this was an eBay, Snipe, or a My Slabs thing. But yeah, paid a little over $1,200 for it. I sold it this past week, or almost 10 days ago now, on eBay for $500, which means I netted out. I think I netted out about $450 after taxes, shipping, the whole 9 yards. Might have been a little bit. I don't remember exactly what it sold for. I think it was around $500. But the one thing that sticks out to me is my net was $450. That's what ended up getting deposited in the old account. So, took a $775 hit, a 63% loss on this card. Now, I've had cards that I've lost more percentage on this year, but dollar figure wise, this is the biggest. Whether I've actualized it or not, there's some stuff in my collection that is, a decent portion of my collection is in the red in market movers, but nowhere near down as much as this one is, especially dollar figure wise. This is by far the biggest. This is the biggest hit that I took this year. It's not even close, dollar wise. So yeah, when I bought this card, the appeal was, and let's flip over. I have another chart pulled up here. We'll kind of move back and forth. This is a bunch of Luka cards that I ran back to the date that I purchased these. I bought it on 4/18. So this is what they have all done. So the appeal to this card select, and this was before 2021 select, or 2020-2021 select came out. LaMelo select had not hit the shelves yet. So a couple things were appealing to me for this card. Back then, it was probably, if I go back 180 days, yeah, the pop was in the low 500s. You can see over the last 180 days, only 88 have been added on. 15% have been added onto the population report. So this card was in the 500-ish range, 550, 575. I don't remember the exact number. Pop-wise, it was selling for, as previously stated, around $1,200. At the time, Luka Prism base was selling for around $1,100. The theory back then was that Select was, getting a little more trendy at the time. All the data had suggested that over the previous few months. The much lower population number would become more appealing eventually. And I viewed this more as a more quasi semi long-term hold, I guess. What my initial thought was when I bought it. And that eventually that would play itself out. That the lower population, versus the 18K pop Prism card, and with the Rise of Select, that would help it eventually grow in value more. And it was the same price as, slightly more than the base Prism, and at the time, to me, that just did not seem correct. You can see the Concourse base back then was 810. Luka Optic Hollow was going for 5K. A Silver Prism was going for 7K. And an Optic base was going for 615. Okay. Fast forward to today. So what went wrong with this? At the time, that was the logic behind buying this card. I was a big Luka believer. And then, everything that we just ran through, low population card. A couple things happened that turned this sideways. One, the market continued to cool down from the time that I bought this. No matter what happened, I was going to continue to lose on this card, but probably not as bad as I did when we talk about a couple other factors. But this card was going to go down regardless. At the time that I purchased, the market was still in its free fall. It had not hit its bottom yet. It would not end up hitting its bottom until June, I believe. June or July is when the NBA market completely bottomed out to some degree or another. And I don't remember what this card got down to at that time. Probably about 900 to $1,000 if I had to guess. I guess I could actually tell you because I have it pulled up here. Which color? That is the red line. A little tricky to tell here. Yeah, pipes. 700 around the 4th of July. What we got here 700. So it got down to around 700. It went back up for a hot minute in the late summer, like post national. There's 1200 again. It got back up to 1200. Whoops. Back up to 1100 in September. And then it went on a very steep downhill dive the last 30 to 60 days. This card just got beat to hell. So what else happened? Market wasn't at its bottom yet. But you could see, even though that happened, the market did rebound a little bit on that card. Other thing that happened, Select came out. LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards Select came out later that year, and the market turned on Select so fast. I guess in this case, I was a little slow to react because I didn't think that it would trickle down to the previous year's stuff. Because the previous year's stuff isn't printed anymore. It is what it is. That stuff's already been printed. It was a hobby exclusive product, low print runs, this, that, and the other thing. So I thought that this card was semi-immune to that. I figured it would get hit a little bit. I didn't think it would get hit a ton. At the same time, the other thing that was going on was the divide between silvers, hollows, and base cards, even low pop base cards. We've done videos on the channel before talking about the gap widening between silvers and hollows, color matches, etc., and regular base cards. I think that also played a factor. Then fast forward, the season started. I was still a believer in the card. The market cooled again, as we've seen the last 30 to 60 days. This card just got whacked from this version of the market cooling. And like I said, I believe it's still the reason I believe it fell more the last 60 days is because of the fact that it's a base card and the fact that Select is just not the prince that it once was. So, why did I decide to sell this at $500 or profit $450 out of it? A lot of people are going to say, "Oh, you should have just held it. It'll eventually go back up again." And you know what? Those people very well could be correct. They absolutely, positively could be correct. They could also be wrong. No one's going to know. We'll find out in a few months or years even. Luka could go on and win an NBA title or an MVP this year. That's a long shot. Could it happen? Sure. Will it happen? Probably not. And this card very well may shoot back up again. However, I ran through my process of, do I want to sit on this card and wait, or do I think it keeps going down? My general theory is I don't know that this card has actually hit its bottom yet, due to the factors that we just discussed. It being a base card, although a low pop base card, and the fact that the shine has kind of come off of Select to a degree, whether fair or not. You might think that's fair. You might think that makes sense. You might think it's stupid. You might think it's great. Whatever. Whether we like it or not, it happened. The market is going to market, as we like to say sometimes. And that's out of our control. What we think makes sense doesn't always make sense. And once again, this is a classic case of just because a card is low population does not mean it's going to support a high price. There's two sides to that scale. There is a supply side and a demand side. And just because something's low population, if it doesn't have high demand, it doesn't really matter. If 671 of these exist, but only 500 people want one, you're kind of screwed. So at this point in time, I evaluated the situation, the other Luka stuff that I have, which is Optic Hollows, Mosaic, etc. And I just decided to pull the trigger and get out of this card, even though I was taking a massive hit on it. I just decided I would rather have the 450 bucks in cash to be able to do something else with. I feel better about and I don't have a plan for the 450, which this is not normally like me. Typically, when I sell something, I would rather have an idea of where that 450 bucks is going. I don't at this point in time. It's just kind of sitting there waiting for an opportunity to pop up. But I just felt that this card was going to continue to go down. Now, the interesting part is, as I am recording this video, there is one at auction. It's currently got, and this will be a sample size of one. Let me take a peek at it really quick. It's got 3 hours left on it, and it's at $355. Now, we all know all the action happens in the last 30 seconds. So we'll see where that one ends up going to. Whether it's higher, lower, around the same. My guess is probably around the same. But once again, my theory is that I could do more good with the 450 bucks than just sitting on the Luka card. Now, maybe I would have been better off to leave that in there for trade bait than just having the cash. But I feel like I could get more done with the cash than having the Luka as a trade option. Once again, I could be completely wrong. I am no saint. I don't know it all. I don't know everything. I get things wrong all the time. As we could see by the fact that I took a $750 hit on this Luka card. And what I do with that money from here, like I said, I don't really know. Part of it was I had spent a ton of money on the Hulk 181 and kind of depleted the fake money pile and wanted to get some stuff back in there. There's already been a couple cases, and this was prior to selling this card, where things popped up and I didn't have the money in the fake money pile to be able to pull the trigger on it. They weren't like life or death things. If they were, I could have got money from somewhere, just sold something else or whatever. I could have freed up capital if I needed to. But it just annoyed me that I didn't have it there to make the move that I potentially saw on some other stuff. So I looked at the inventory and I felt this was a good card to just get out of, and I would just rather have the cash at hand. So, we'll see if it's the right decision or not. Time will tell. I'll be curious for your guys and girls' thoughts down below. What would you have done in this position? Are you okay selling? Would you have sold this card and just got the 450 bucks and taken the hit? Or do you think this was a mistake? Should I have held on to this and just waited, whether that be use it as trade bait or, let it ride and see what happens as the season goes on? Maybe it ends up going back up again. But my thing was, I didn't see a path to this card getting back to $1,200 potentially ever again, at least in the short term, like as in a few years. I already have other nicer Luka stuff now. The Luka Optic Hollows, I only have 2 of those left, but I still have them. Luka Mosaic, some of that other stuff I have, a little bit nicer Luka versus the base card. I just feel like I have a better chance to turn 450 into 1,200 than sitting on this card and getting back to 1,200. And I don't know what the path is yet to get to that 1,200, but that was the theory essentially. So would you have done the same, or do you believe in the card more than the cash? I guess is what this comes down to. Would you rather have the 450 bucks in hand, or this card in your case as trade bait / let me just sit on it and see what happens? So that's all I have for you guys and girls today. Like I said, if I'm gonna flaunt the wins, I gotta flaunt the losses too. I sold this card a week ago. I was waiting to make this video after the holidays. Mentioned it in the eBay video that I did the other day. So that's all I got. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff down below. Catch you guys and girls on the next one. Hopefully that's tomorrow for a breaking news PSA regular service video like I thought they were going to do today. But we shall see. Peace.